Morans, how you doing, brother?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, you want me to read my question now?
Please.
Okay, I've seen a disturbing trend of younger people thinking pay-to-win mechanics in games are normal, in the West. To the point where some protest the lack of them. Like, Asmon reacted to a guy who was complaining about, pay-to-win roles not being in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Which made a lot of people mad. And I thought, okay, that's just one guy. But then I heard a story about someone's daughter complaining that, what is it, gifts in Genshin Impact? Something like that? She was complaining that that wasn't in another game. So it's like in their psyche now.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this, and is it fair to criticize them if they've grown up without ever knowing anything else?
Well, whether it's... So that's really two different questions. Is it fair to criticize them? Yes, because when a moron is a moron, you should call them a moron, right? So, yeah, absolutely fair. On a separate level, this is... we've lost the fight. The truth is, people like myself, people like Asmongold, people who are very much against cash shops and pay to win have lost the fight. Even in World of Warcraft now, there are people that love that mounts are on the cash shop because it means they can get the mount without having to actually, play a video fucking game. They can literally just swipe the credit card and it shows up, which is apparently how games are supposed to be played. So we have lost the war. And it's not surprising that we've lost the war. This is usually what happens when giant corporations want something. When giant corporations want something, they have actual psychiatrists and psychologists work on how do we do this. Every single thing that the gaming industry have done up until now wasn't for us. It was for the younger generation. It was to get them to the point where they are okay with it. There will be a time where people like us will not have games left to play that hasn't just become completely pay to win. EA and their loot boxes right now, they know that players my age, sort of modern day gamers, hate the fact that these loot boxes exist, hate the fact that these skins and bullshit exist and it isn't just part of the base price. We sort of begrudgingly accept it because we kind of enjoy the game. But it's not for us. It's for the younger people, the people who are only now starting to play. They are the ones that's being mind controlled, brainwashed into accepting that this is just how video games work. This is just how it works. There's really nothing you can do about it. A good example of this being used in a good way, not in a bad way, being used in a good way, is South Africa. So, for those of you that don't know the history of South Africa is perhaps the country that perfected racism better than any other country. In fact, the laws that we had around racism was incredibly vast and sophisticated. Absolutely to the point where if it wasn't for the fact that the hearts and minds of the people in South Africa got changed, those laws would have been in existence to this day. There is physically no way that any country in the world would have been able to overturn our laws. South Africa was about 4 years away from securing nuclear power, in which case South Africa would have laughed at the rest of the world for trying to pressure it into dropping apartheid. South Africa wouldn't have given a fuck. We have all the natural resources we could possibly need. We wouldn't be necessarily a rich country worldwide, but we would be fine. We would have all the food we need. We have oil. We have shit tons of gas. So we would have been fine for the most part. What happened was a lot of companies weren't happy with just being fine. They wanted to make more money. The problem is, how do you make money in a system where 90% of the population isn't allowed to buy anything? Like, how do you actually make money? You can't. 90% of the population aren't allowed to spend any money or buy anything, and those who can buy something don't have the money to buy anything. So these corporations wanted to make money. So, for the betterment of humanity, all in all, so this is actually a good example of this happening, slowly but surely they started to release information. They started to soften the general population's attitude towards black people. Slowly. This didn't happen overnight. This was done slowly. This was done in movies and theater plays, and sort of here and there would be an article in the newspapers, and they would infiltrate the school system, and they would do things like this. Slowly over time, they softened people's hearts towards black people. And in 1992, 75% of all white people in South Africa said black people should absolutely have the right to vote. 10 years prior, that vote would have failed. 100%, like 80% of South Africans would have said fuck no.
So wait, it only took a decade?
They started about 1974, I think. In 1982, there was sort of a test of where the public is on this issue, and most people said no, black people shouldn't be allowed to vote. In 1992, it literally sailed through with 75% of the vote, right? Saying, yes, black people should absolutely have the right to vote in South Africa. So, yeah, within little over a decade, they were able to change the hearts and minds of staunch conservative people that refused to believe that black people should be allowed to vote. They were able to change their minds. This is what the gaming industry have been doing, slowly but surely. And it's, by the way, it's not necessarily just the older generation. It really started with the students, the younger people going to college. It was their hearts that got changed first, and they then changed their parents' and their grandparents' hearts. And that's how we got to where we are now in South Africa. Now, the current problems of my government notwithstanding, I think we could all agree that's a good thing. The gaming industry is literally the reverse of that. It's a horrible thing, but this is how they do it. It is slowly. It's not for our benefit, because they know they're not going to change my mind. But it doesn't matter, because what they need is the younger generation. Because what ends up happening is, as the younger generation gets used to this shit, they want these things in their video games. So now EA can say, look, we have to add loot boxes to our game. The players want this. You know, the players need this. They look at all the forum posts of players saying they want the loot boxes. So we're doing what the players want. Players like myself eventually begrudgingly start accepting it. We're just like, well, you know, this is the life we lead now. And it becomes normal for us as well. So I don't think there's any way to stop it. Well, we can't do anything to stop it. But luckily, the economics of the world will put a stop to this very soon. With interest rates going the way that it is right now, with the world economy going the way that it is right now, almost every single self-respecting economist is warning that a recession is now basically coming, a world recession. We could very quickly find ourselves in a depression. Very, very quickly, we could find ourselves in a depression. What happens during a depression? People don't have money for loot boxes. All the loot boxes and pay-to-win mechanics that you used to have, no one can afford them. All of these companies that have basically made their bets on these forward-thinking pay-to-win elements go bankrupt because their games can't hold up without it. So that's really where we are right now, is the world economy is going to take care of this, which is on the one hand beautiful because fuck the AAA industry. On the other hand, sadly, a lot of people are going to suffer, and I don't like that bit. So I really hope that we can turn this around. I will take gaming companies being fucking assholes with their pay-to-win elements if it doesn't lead to actual normal people that had fuck all to do with these issues suffer the consequences of issues being created by people in Washington and Westminster and shit like that. But this is where we are now, and it's coming. There's nothing we can do about it. If nothing changes in the world, pay-to-win is here to stay. Here and there... Sorry, yeah? Go for it.
I was just going to say, that's pretty bleak, but I come to you to hear the truth, not what I want to hear.
I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but the real world suggests that this is how it goes. And once it starts, there's no way to stop it, right? As soon as so there's this, again, you can look at actual society. Once a movement starts, there's no real way to stop said movement. It will just continue, and it will, if there's enough people motivated to make this movement a reality, it is going to continue. And young people, you know, we're all sort of results of our time, you know, we're products of our time. I came in to video games during a time where the idea of a cash shop would have been completely alien. You wouldn't even be able to do it. Most games didn't have, like, most people didn't have internet, and most games didn't even need an internet connection. So where the fuck are you putting a cash shop, right? Nowadays, it's everywhere, right? Like, every game is on the internet. Everyone buys pay-to-win shit. Even my cousin, dude, as someone who is so against pay-to-win, even my cousin the other day complained, I can't remember what game it was. Witcher 3. He complained that he can't buy a different skin for his sword in Witcher 3 because he doesn't like the sword that he has right now. And I was like, are you a fucking moron? Like, it's a sword. It's meant to kill. Like, what are you fucking saying? And he was like, no, but it's much more fun. Like, the things that I can buy in Fortnite, the skins that I can buy in Fortnite, I want to buy a weapon skin. And I was like, dude, I don't want to talk to you. Like, just get the fuck away from me. I don't want to talk to you. This is a game that you don't need skins for. There is no skins, and you want skins. So, yeah, it's where we are, right? That's life.
All right, well, thanks for taking my question, sir.
Thanks for the question. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, bro.